Hey, welcome. Today, we are going to tackle something that, let's be honest, runs a part of all of our lives fear. But what if I told you that by the end of this, we could completely change your relationship with it? That we could turn fear from this big, scary stop sign into a compass? Let's do this. So, let's just start here. You've heard it a million times, right? All the good stuff, all the real learning and growth, it happens just outside our comfort zone. We know this. So, why does it feel so awful to go there? Why do we avoid it like the plague?
Well, it really boils down to one simple, powerful thing: fear. Yep, the fear of looking dumb, the fear of failing, the fear of just not knowing what's going to happen. That feeling is the number one reason we decide, you know what, I'm good right here where it's safe.
So, first up, let's really look at fear for what it often is: a total growth killer. I mean, it's this ancient protective instinct that, in our modern world, ends up stealing some of our best chances to actually get better at, well, anything. And look, this isn't some abstract theory. These are real stories. There is the high schooler who was literally one song away from making it onto The Voice, but the fear got so big, she just walked off the stage. Or think about the little third grader who will only play right field in baseball because he's terrified a ball will be hit to him and he'll mess up in front of everyone. Heck, the speaker from our source material got into Duke, his dream school, and then spent a whole year saying nothing in class, just paralyzed by the fear that he'd sound like he didn't belong. Fear doesn't just stop us, it robs us. So where in the world does this thing even come from? To get that, you gotta meet the part of your brain that's pulling all the strings. Let's call it the lizard brain. Now, the science name for this is the amygdala. It's this tiny, ancient, almond-sized part of your brain, and its job description has exactly one line on it: keep you alive. That's it. And its absolute favorite go-to tool for doing that job? It's generating a massive dose of fear to make you run away from anything that seems even remotely dangerous. Okay, but here is the big problem: the lizard brain's one major glitch. It's fantastic at its job, right? It's why you duck when a bat flies toward your head at a game. But it has absolutely no clue how to tell the difference between a real life-threatening danger, like standing on a cliff, and a growth opportunity, like giving a speech. To the lizard brain, public speaking and a 150-foot drop feel exactly the same. And so, in both cases, it hits the big red panic button. And it knows when to hit that button, because it's always scanning for four specific things: uncertainty, attention, change, and struggle. Now, sure, those four things can definitely add up to a dangerous situation, but they also perfectly describe every single time you've ever tried to learn something new and meaningful. So if those ingredients are there, you can bet that fear is going to be there too. And this leads us to this huge myth we've all been told, just be brave, conquer your fear, be fearless. But once you understand the biology, you realize that's actually kind of terrible advice. So the natural question, the one you're probably thinking right now, is the same one our source asked his hero, the author Seth Godin. Okay, fine. If this thing is messing with me, how do I get rid of it? How do I kill the lizard brain? And Godin's answer changed everything. He just said, that is exactly the wrong question. Whoa. See, the goal isn't to kill it at all. Because here's the deal: you can't fight your own brain chemistry and expect to win. It's just not possible. When you try to argue with that fear or push back against it, all you're doing is making the lizard brain freak out even more. You're just pouring gasoline on the fire. It's a fight you are hardwired to lose every single time. So, if we can't fight it, what on earth are we supposed to do? Well, this brings us to a totally new way of thinking, a radical new mental model. What if your fear isn't a stop sign? What if it's a compass? The whole idea is to completely reinterpret the signal. That feeling, the heart pounding, the sweaty palms, that internal freakout, that's not a warning to retreat. Oh no, it's a biological signal that you are onto something big. It means you're right on the verge of doing something brave and important and powerful. And this tiny shift in perspective, it's everything. The old way of thinking says fear is bad, and if you feel it, it means I can't do this. And that just makes you feel ashamed. The upgraded approach says feeling fear just means, hey, I'm a human being pushing my own boundaries. The goal is no longer to be fearless. The goal is to learn how to dance with fear. And don't ever think this feeling just vanishes, even for the pros. The speaker in our source has given something like 900 talks in his career, and he says every single time, without fail, his lizard brain is having a complete meltdown. The fear doesn't go away, his skill at dancing with it just gets better. So let's make this super practical. In our final section, how do you actually do this? How do you take this idea of a compass and put it into practice? How do you learn the steps to this dance? Okay, it's a really simple 4-step process. Step 1. Just acknowledge the feeling is there. Don't fight it, don't ignore it, just let it be. Step 2. Name it. Literally say to yourself, that's just my lizard brain doing its thing again. This creates a little distance. Step 3. Reframe it. See that feeling as your compass and think, okay, this feeling means I'm pointed in the right direction. And finally, step 4, just take the next small step. You don't have to do the whole scary thing at once, just one tiny step forward. I love this metaphor, which is inspired by the author Liz Gilbert. The problem isn't that fear is in the car with you on your journey. The problem is when you let the lizard brain get behind the wheel and drive. Your job is just to make sure it stays buckled up in the backseat. It can come along for the ride, but you are the one who's driving. And the most important thing to remember is that this is a skill. It's a muscle. You don't start by bench pressing 300 pounds, right? So don't try to tackle your biggest, gnarliest fear tomorrow. Start small. Feel the fear when you're in a meeting and raise your hand anyway. Get your reps in. Every time you do it, that muscle gets a little bit stronger. So I'll leave you with this. Now that you know fear isn't a wall, it's a compass, what is it pointing you toward? Right now in your life, what brave, important, meaningful opportunity is your fear trying to show you?